Hello and welcome to the first of 4 programmes from Club 100's race day coverage from round 8 of our Sprints Championship. It's September and we're at the Lydd circuit in Kent for the first time since 2009 on what is a gloriously sunny day for karting on what feels like the last warm day of summer. In terms of the championship, Harry Neal and Sean Briley share the championship lead on total points scored, but dropped the 6 worst scores as everyone must by the end of the season, and Alex Reddy has just a 4-point advantage over Daniel Healy. Throw into the mix GT Academy finalist Tom King and former championship leader Adam White, and you have 6 drivers covered by just 30 points, contesting the run-in to the end of the season. Every final from here will matter, right up to the last final at Bookmore Park in November. The format for the class is the familiar one. It's time qualifying practice to determine the grid for championship scoring Pre-B and Pre-A finals. The top 4 from the Pre-B move on to the back of the Pre-A final, with the fastest lap times in the pre-finals determining the grid for the B and the Trophy A final. The top 2 finishers will then join the back of the Trophy A final. The best 16 final results from the 11-round season will determine the 2015 lightweight champion. This is the Pre-B final. The 23 drivers that haven't qualified directly to the top 20 for the Pre-A. Jacob Hain-Ford in pole position, William Hemsley on the front row, Tom Mackenzie, and a return to action for John Whiteley on row 2. Alexander Lamin, James Munro on row 3, Aidan Kishner and James Williams on row 4. Andrew Mather and Luke Hornsby round out the top 10. Rolling through and around the short oval. There's a thumbs up there from John Whiteley in 73. I think we're going to go this time. Pole position man Jacob Hain-Ford in the white will take over control of the pace. Hemsley beyond him in the black. Revs rising. Jacob's dropped the hammer and he's going for it. There's the green light into the first chicane. Will they all make it in? Yes, they will. And it's a clean run through. On board here with Andrew Mather. That's James Williams ahead of us. Second chicane. Hain-Ford, Hemsley and Whiteley are getting clear. Tom Mackenzie in 4th place, I think. Hornsby looking to the inside of James Williams. Kishner making a good strong start. Already picked up a couple of spots in kart number 70. But it's Hain-Ford, Hemsley, Whiteley, 3 away. 4 to qualify, of course. And that 4th place is always going to be fought tooth and nail. Hemsley to the lead. It's a bit of a surprise there to get in so early down the inside of the last corner. Whiteley under pressure from Alexander Lamin now. James Munro in 5th. Tom Mackenzie is down in 6th place. Mather again has fallen in behind Luke Hornsby. So there's been a bit of a switch around at the end of the lap. The field streaming through, settling into a single line pretty much. Kart 13, there's Tom Mackenzie. Probably getting a little bit desperate, trying to get back on terms. Kishner under pressure from Williams. Round the horseshoe, trying to avoid going in the wood chippings. Down the back straight, and it looks as though Hain-Ford is struggling for top end speed. Somebody running out wide there. I think that's Tom Mackenzie, or is it Lamin? So it's Hemsley, Whiteley, Hain-Ford now in 3rd place. Oh, a bit messy there from Alexander Lamin in 4th. And that's put him in the crosshairs of Aidan Kishner and James Munro. Side by side they go. Into the 2nd chicane, down to the hairpin. Prime overtaking real estate down here. Mike Noon indeed has got a run on Craig Summers for 15th. Down at the hairpin. Can he get it done? He has indeed. So it's Hemsley leading Whiteley, Hain-Ford, still Alexander Lamin. On the back straight. Everyone looking for a run. And once again, Hain-Ford is on the defensive to hold off Lamin. Oh, and unfortunately Munro had to take the outside lane, and he's lost a spot here to Aidan Kishner. Side by side into the first chicane. Yep, Kishner goes through and moves up to 5th. Off the corner, what a run from Mather, round the outside of Hornsby for the inside of kart 24, which is Mark White. Oh, and Hornsby's lost out badly. James Akers, the man in black in kart 108, looking for a way by and picking up spots as he can. A lot of experience in Club 100, a little bit rusty though, I fear. Down the inside, Mike Noon can't get it done. That looked a bit clumsy. But it's Whiteley now, out ahead of Hemsley under pressure from Lamin. And once again, Kishner goes by. Hainford struggling at the end of the back straight. What a shame for Jacob. Starting in pole position. Seems pretty well powerless to hold them off down the back straight, and Lamin's been turned round, and Akehurst is in the kitty litter with nowhere else to go. What a shame for James. Well, we're having a bit of a shakeout here on lap 5. 16 laps, 4 to qualify. Whiteley has pulled out a 1 second advantage on William Hemsley. Hainford now under pressure from James Williams. This is now the fight for 6th place. Hainford beginning to get another cue. Williams under pressure, looking for a way past Hainford, and he's just driven round the outside, and once again Monroe is badly placed on the outside and might lose out to Tom McKenzie. Hands in the air, a big lift there from Mather. A yellow flag out at the second chicane. Oh, kart 24 been restarted. That's Mark White. Hainford still running in, what's that now? That's 5th place, behind 6th place behind James Williams. Mike Noon moving forward. I think he's staying ahead there of Chris Penny. Down the back straight, and Lamin is under pressure from Kishner and James Williams in what is a fight for 3rd place, 4 to qualify. One of these guys is going to miss out. Right now it would be James Williams. He wants to be by Aidan Kishner, who's run wide off the first chicane. Back on board with Andrew Mather. Ahead of us, we're looking at the back of Tom McKenzie. Beyond him, James Monroe and Jacob Hainford. Through the second chicane, everybody looking fairly tidy. McKenzie looking down the inside. Monroe leaving the door open. He's making a habit of running wide into these corners, just inviting people in. And Mather picks up a spot from McKenzie. So Andrew Mather on the move here. As McKenzie got a response, he's in the slipstream. Mather going half a cart width, the cart width narrow. Hainford doing the same sort of thing to hold off Monroe. And around the outside, McKenzie is gone, and he's got the spot back. And he's got a run on Monroe, but he's bottled up behind, and I think he probably had to lift there and lost his momentum into the second chicane. On lap 8 now, and Mather's having another look down the inside of Tom McKenzie. And Monroe's gone in deep on Jacob Hainford, and it's too wide, too deep. Mather on the outside looking for a gap into the horseshoe. There's rarely one that will accommodate 3 carts wide. And in behind, here comes back into the fight kart 24. Of course, he's a lap down. Hainford on the defensive. And James White has gone through Alexander Lamin. There was hands in the air there, suggesting a possible overtake under yellow there, maybe from Williams. Well, we'll see if he gets away with it or not later in the final. We're through half distance. Whiteley's lead is 2.2 seconds ahead of William Hemsley, who in turn has got 0.6 of a second on James Williams. Lamin in 4th place for now. Mather going round the outside of Jacob Hainford. Tom McKenzie down the inside of Monroe. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. And he moves into 6th place. James Williams looking down the inside of Hemsley. On a mission here, James Williams, and plenty quick at the end of the back straight, and he picks up another spot. And that moves him into 2nd place. Setting the fastest lap. Now, fastest lap times are important. They set the grid for the main finals. If you can qualify from here in the top 4, you get another bite of the cherry from starting at the back of the pre-A final. If you can't qualify, then your lap time in this pre-B final will set your grid position for the B final. So Hemsley behind James Williams. Here they come, sweeping through the long left-hander. Oh, and Jacob Hainford trying to get a position back from Andrew Mather. Down the back straight they come. Now I've got a feeling that the blue helmet there of Thomas McCutcheon is indeed a lap down. Needs to get out the way. It's a blue sign up on the Robomic. I wonder if that's a blue flag. Got quite a queue behind him. Mather looking for a way past lapped traffic. Ian Ford, Luke Hornsby, Chris Penny, Ian McGregor, all looking to make progress. 1, 2, 3 wide. Well, Hornsby's got through, so's Mather. We're on board here with Mike Noon. That's Chris Penny ahead of us in the red. Picking up a spot there. I think from Ian McGregor. Oh, he's over the outside. Keep your eyes on the road, please, at all times. Penny going through there on kart 24, who indeed is a lap down as well, Mark White. Well, let's let this race settle if it can for a second. We're on to lap 12 of 16, so we're moving into the final quarter shortly. John Whiteley's lead, still 2 seconds on James Williams, who in turn has got a second over William Hemsley, but there's a question mark on James Williams. Maybe he's passing under yellow, could be right, could be wrong. Alexander Lamont is staying in 4th place. Aidan Kishner is 5th. Tom McKenzie, James Monroe, Andrew Mather, Luke Hornsby, and Power Jacob Hayne Ford is now down in 10th place. Back on board with Mike Noon, trying to make progress in 12th. Looking around where the pressure's coming from. Needs to be concentrating ahead of him. Chris Penny in the red is his next target. Aidan Kishner moving by Alexander Lamin. That's for 4th place in qualification. Tom McKenzie would like to be by as well, if you don't mind, Alex. Side by side they go into the horseshoe. And really all they're succeeding in doing is letting Aidan Kishner get a run clear of them. On the back straight, Lamin going narrow, needs to hold him off so he can regroup and come again. Jacob Hayne Ford driven around the outside by Chris Penny. Oh, side by side in the first chicane. It's an awful squeeze through here. But people are indeed prepared to try it, especially in the closing stages, and I think that's only fair. Lamin on the bumper of Tom McKenzie, but they're not racing for qualification. They're going to miss out at this rate. Kishner is up the road. So Penny running in 11th, ahead of Jacob Hayne Ford. Oh, and Hayne Ford's gone back through. A lot of hard work, which I think will be undone at the end of the back straight once again. Look how narrow Jacob's having to go. But Penny just drives around the outside once again. And then runs wide off the corner. And Hayne Ford moves back into 10th on the penultimate lap. There's a big battle going on behind. Kart 22 has been off the road as well. That's Piers Ward. Needs to get out of the way. There's a fight going on here, and Mather's getting a run on James Monroe. 3 wide, which will be 2 wide. And then Mather goes through. And I just distinctly heard Andrew Mather shouting something there. Down the back straight, Lamin trying to hold off kart number 13, which is Tom McKenzie, and he can't do it. Monroe goes through on Mather. And they're on to their final lap. Great racing here in the Pre-B final. Nothing much to do for John Whiteley except finish. James Williams in 2nd. William Hemsley under pressure from Aidan Kishner. Oh, Tom McKenzie sloppily off the 2nd chicane. I think he's got away with it though. Mather on the bumper of James Monroe, who indeed is trying to find a way past Alex Lamin. Into the horseshoe for the last time. Down the inside, Aidan Kishner and William Hemsley for 3rd place. It's not going to matter, those 4 will qualify. 1 corner from the finish. John Whiteley back in action after a long break from Club 100. Some people just can't leave it alone. James Williams finishes 2nd on the road, but he has indeed picked up a penalty that demotes him to 4th. But that's still enough to see him through with Aidan Kishner and William Hemsley. On to the pre-air final. The top 20 qualifiers from time qualifying joined on the last 2 rows by 4 qualifiers from the pre-B final. In pole position, Sean Briley, Daniel Healy on grid 2. On the second row, Harry Neal and Ben Atkinson. Sean Thompson and Tom King on row 3. Lex Wakeman and Freddie Fincham on row 4. Christopher Powell and Adrian Richardson on row 5. Alex Reddy, the championship leader, on grid 11. 24 carts rolling into the final corner. The pace cart pulls off. You're looking at Sean Briley and beyond him Dan Healy. We're riding on board here with Tom King. That's Ben Atkinson ahead of us and Sean Thompson on our right. Into the first chicane and Briley's got the whole shot ahead of Healy and Harry Neal. Out of the chicane, Sean Thompson with his hand in the air. You're riding on board briefly with Adam White. We've got a few cameras in this final, as you can imagine. Down a single file, or getting there, off the second chicane. That's White ahead of us. On board there with Pietro Pagano, moving past Jack Richards. Into the horseshoe for the first time. Picking up speed. Top speed on the back straight, down to the last corner. And it's Briley, Healy, Neal, Atkinson, gap to King under pressure from Fincham. On board with Lex Wakeman in 8, trying to find a way past Fincham. Back on board with White, trying to find a way past Alexander Reddy. Title contenders together, side by side, into the chicane. And Reddy looks to hold the spot, and I think he'll hang on into the second chicane. Will White be able to tip in over the top? He's doing his best. Oh, he's run him out wide, and Pagano goes through. Wakeman to the inside of Fincham, and that's 6th place for Lex. Richards back in the mix and going through on Alexander Reddy. White looks to the inside. 2 wide into the horseshoes, tough. 3 wide's a bit tricky. Round the outside, Harrison Darville. And they run on to start lap 3. Briley's lead is 0.2 of a second on Dan Healy, who's 0.6 of a second. Clear now of Harry Neal under pressure from Ben Atkinson. Adrian Richardson trying to find a way past Freddie Fincham. And that's a fight for 7th place now. Pagano escaping Richards, Reddy, and back on board with White. Richards goes to cover, and White's down the inside. He's going to try and do the pair of them. That's optimistic. Where's Pagano? He's on the outside. This could be a chance for Darville. Into position for a run down the back straight. Oh, Richardson runs wide over the curb. This is a chance for Thompson to get a position back, and he goes through in the last corner. Richards, White trying to go round the outside. That's not going to work. 3 wide off the corner. Oh no, not into the first chicane. Reddy's there as well. Oh, White's run out of road. He's over the curb, and he's lucky not to get collected. He looks a bit anxious, and I don't blame him. Check his shorts. So Darville moving through in the fallout from that incident. Harrison moving up to 13th place. And Daniel Healy moving onto the bumper of Briley, looking for a way by. Briley down the middle of the road to put him off into the last corner. Your race leader's lead is next to nothing. We're moving on to lap 5. The gap between them is just 1/10 of a second. Neal trying to break clear of Atkinson. King under pressure from Wakeman. So all the championship contenders are here, running inside the top 10. There's Reddy, running in 10th. Darville. Actually, White's fallen back a little bit. On board with Wakeman, trying to get on the bumper of Tom King. Now there is a distinct draft here. You need to be a little bit closer, but he is closing in at the end of the straight. Prime overtaking spot into the last corner. Not so much into the first chicane. Adrian Richardson, who's been off the road, getting in the way of Briley, putting him off just slightly, and that's all that Dan Healy needs. Tried to go through there, but Briley covered him off. With Wakeman in position to strike down at the hairpin. This is the other prime overtaking spot, and here he comes. Wakeman jumps in late. It's a good move, it's a clean move. Looks like we've got a yellow flag out here. In the horseshoe. Somebody at the side of the road, somebody in the tyres on the outside. Briley's pulled out a couple of cart lengths now on Daniel Healy. And Ben Atkinson showing well in this final. Well up the front, hasn't been there for a while. On the bumper of Harry Neal. Championship leader, if you like, if you want to take total points. The drop scores means he's in 6th place. He needs to pick up podium positions now and preferably wins. He would like Ben to follow him. Ben's not interested. He's in it for the glory. And they are getting detached from Daniel Healy. And beyond him, Sean Briley. Richardson now in front of Lex Wakeman, a lap down of course. So Wakeman pulling clear of Tom King. Yellow flag in the air. And in the air as well from James Williams. And we're already on to lap 8. The pre-air final, the laps turn quickly here at Lydd. So Atkinson under pressure now from Harry Neal, and Wakeman is getting across and he's dropping Tom King, so Lex Wakeman in a hurry. Neal to the inside at the hairpin. Can he get it done? He can't, but he's done enough to get the inside for the horseshoe, I think. Has he got the run? He hasn't. Neal lifts, but Atkinson missed an apex on the turn in. That's put him right on the nose of Harry Neal down the back straight, and they're losing ground on the leading pair, and Wakeman is closing in from behind, and Tom King is still in Lex Wakeman's toe. I think we're going to have a 4-way fight here for 3rd place. So Atkinson leading out in 3rd, and Wakeman is right there now, and he wants to be by. Lex Wakeman in a hurry. Feathering the throttle into the chicane. Picking up the revs on the exit. Is he going to dive to the inside as he did on King? Not close enough this time. Into the horseshoe. Tricky corner in its way. Hitting the curves will lose you just a little bit of momentum. And that might be enough to give someone a run at the end of the straight. Wakeman, he'd be a long way back from there. But Neal runs wide, or maybe that's his line, but it's opened the door for Lex Wakeman. Wakeman will be inside into the chicane. And another spot picked up for Lex. His best showing for a while, probably since Red Lodge. Now it's Ben Atkinson, who has been a little bit untidy, missing his apexes. And it looks as though Pietro Pagano is closing in on Sean Thompson for 8th place. Not quite there yet, but closing quickly. Adrian Richardson doing the right thing and getting well out of the way. And once again, Atkinson a little bit sloppy mid the horseshoe. And this is a chance for Lex Wakeman at the end of the straight. And I think Lex is going to go for this one. Down the inside. Oh, Atkinson's got a good run through the corner. Holds him off. Pagano on the bumper of Sean Thompson in the fight for 8th place. And we're on to lap 11 of 16. Sean Briley's lead is 0.4 of a second over Dan Healy. He's 3 seconds clear of this fight for 3rd place. Atkinson taking his long wide line, keeps the momentum up, and that will keep the position for now. Wakeman from a good way back. Atkinson gives him room again. They're slowing down and falling back into Harry Neal and Tom King. It's a drag race. And Wakeman's going to have to tip in over the outside, but here comes Harry Neal from a long way back. Contact with Wakeman. I think that was just about getting past Ben Atkinson, but I think Lex Wakeman's going to be run down the outside of this line. And here comes Tom King. He's seen a bit of daylight, he goes for it, he's through. Oh, terrible couple of corners for Lex Wakeman, and he's on the wrong line here, and the door might be open for Freddie Fincham down at the hairpin. And we've got a 5-way fight for 3rd place. All of Lex Wakeman's hard work has been undone in half a lap. Inside, he's trying to get past Fincham, but Fincham won't be moved. Onto the back straight, in the slipstream, as Wakeman got the speed. Atkinson appears to. He wants that position back from Neal. He's not racing for the championship. He can afford to be aggressive. And Neil covers that off in quite aggressive style. There's your leading duo, and they are pulling well clear now. They're 5 seconds clear of the battle for third place. Daniel Healy still hasn't really pulled the trigger on a move on the lead. Is he leaving it late? And look at the gap. Back on board with Pagano, looking to the inside of Sean Thompson. I think he's got it done. Takes the curb on the inside for the long left. And he moves through to 8th place. Still game on at the front, and still nothing from Daniel Healy. In the wheel tracks of Sean Briley. Back on board with Tom King. Onto the bumper briefly of Ben Atkinson. Fastest lap times, if they've popped up while you've been watching, are setting the grid for the Trophy A final. Harrison Darville coming through in 11th place ahead of James Williams, Jack Richards, Andrew Ward, William Hemsley. John Whiteley out of the pre-B final, he won that one. Currently running in 16th place ahead of Aidan Kitchener. Into the penultimate lap, and is Daniel Healy going to make a move? Is he waiting for a mistake from Sean Briley, which we haven't seen? Oh, he went a bit deep in that one. It's game on here. Chance then for Healy at the hairpin. Briley covers up. He'll be slow off the corner with that narrow line in. A chance maybe at the horseshoe, and Briley's already onto that one and is covering up into the horseshoe. Wakeman still looking for a way past Freddie Fincham. Harry Neal under pressure from Tom King. Down the back straight, about to start the final lap. Is Daniel Healy rehearsing a big finish on the last lap? He's looking for a mistake from Sean Briley. Not into the first chicane as Briley goes narrow to cover him off. The battle for third is raging hard out behind. Off the last corner, and Harry Neal clips the tyre barrier. Going over start-finish. Was he complaining there about contact that we've not seen? Wakeman trying to force a pass, and Harry Neal lets him go. 3 corners from the finish then. Sean Briley under pressure once again. This is a well-rehearsed move by him to cover in the horseshoe. It's going to come down the last corner, but it's important to get a good run through the left-hander. Onto the back straight, and Healy's not close enough. Sean Briley nailed it, and there's nothing Dan Healy can do about it. Into the braking zone for the last time. It's going to be a second pre-final win of the season for Sean Briley ahead of Daniel Healy. And in third place, who's it going to be? It's Ben Atkinson ahead of Tom King, Freddie Fincham and Lex Wakeman. Harry Neal finishes in 7th after an expensive mistake, but it's better than the other championship contender. Adam White is running in 21st place to the finish. The last chance repechage B final. Andrew Mather on pole position by dint of a fast lap late in the pre-B final. Tom McKenzie on the front row with him. Chris Penny, James Akehurst recovered from the kitty litter off the chicane. James Munro, Ian McGregor, Luke Hornsby and David Darling on row 4. Alexander Lamin and Rainer Dulnig round out the top 10. Look out for Jacob Hayne-Ford. He's going to start this final from 15th place after a disappointment off pole position. Mather drops the hammer. 2 qualifying spots up for grabs. You want to get away early, and that's Mather's plan. I can tell already. Tom McKenzie coming through in 2nd place, and poor Mike Noon's already gone round with Craig Summers. Their finals are effectively over, and they haven't even got out of the first corner. Mather and McKenzie clear of James Akehurst. Oh, and it's all getting a little bit messy and a little bit desperate, one might suggest. 15 is Rainer Dulnig trying to pick up spots. They need to get themselves in line and start making progress, because Mather and McKenzie and Akehurst are pulling clear at the front of the field. So coming round to finish lap 1. And Chris Penny's got ahead of James Akehurst. We've missed that one off camera. So Akehurst down in 4th place, but it's Mather, McKenzie, Chris Penny, James Akehurst, Luke Hornsby, James Munro, Ian McGregor in 7th, and the rest of the field streaming into first chicane to start lap 2. Mather working hard at the wheel. McKenzie a little bit crossed up off the corner. Hornsby under pressure from James Munro. Needs to tidy it up and get his head down and push out of the chicane. And he's trying to close in on James Akehurst. Battle for 7th here. David Darling, Alexander Lamin, Rafael Draskas in cart 79 trying to hold off cart 24, which is Mark White. Onto the back straight they go, charging down the last corner. Fairly frantic, and they're losing touch with James Munro in 6th place. Turning in, running out. Remember, it's 2 to qualify, and I'm afraid it's looking like a long shot now for this group at the back of the field. So they're now fighting for personal pride and just having a good tear up in Kent in the sunshine. Thomas McCutcheon, Sam Watson. Couple of father and son teams out here today. Peter Watson's his father was racing in heavyweights, but Sam Watson has raced in Club 100, I remember. Also we've got John Whiteley, who's introduced his son Harry Whiteley to lightweights, running in the A final. That'll be coming up shortly. Great to see Club 100 spreading across the generations, if you like. And you could also spreading across various sports. Rafael Draskas is a sort of mate of mine. I met racing on iRacing simulation software. I can't race karts anymore, but racing is an itch I've got to scratch, even if it has to be sim racing. Alexander Lamin side by side off the corner with Darling, and on the left is Mark White. 3 wide into the horseshoe, we've seen doesn't work, and Lamin has gone through. So we're coming round to start another lap. Luke Hornsby getting past James Akehurst there in the last corner, so problems for James. Mather's lead is 1.1 seconds over Tom McKenzie. You can see it there. 2 to qualify, so McKenzie's got his hands full with Chris Penny on his bumper. Hornsby now up to 4th place, Akehurst down to 5th. Side by side, Hayden Ford and Sam Watson. They're busy fighting out over 11th place. In 4 to the inside of the hairpin, can't get it done. Oh, it's all a bit messy back there. Thomas McCutcheon. And I'm not quite sure who with. Behind Watson now is Rafael Draskas. Down the back straight they go. Draskas looking over his shoulder. 15 is Rainer Dulnig. Piers Ward behind. On to another lap. Lap 6 of 16. And this one's going Andrew Mather's way. And Mackenzie is going to have to work for the entire final here, because Chris Penny wants 2nd place and qualification to the A final. So Rainer Dulnig in 15th. That's Rafael Draskas. Looking to the inside of David Darling. Mark White can't get it done in their fight for 8th. Alexander Lamin ahead and pulling clear. A look over the shoulder from Alex. Mather leading out, and he's beginning to stretch. 1.5 seconds clear of Tom McKenzie. And we are beginning to get the field spread that you often see in a B final. Ian McGregor there stood at the side of the road. Some kind of technical problem. On board with the race leader into the horseshoe. Good line in, fast line out. Hornsby clipped the inside curb there. Got to be careful, Munro's not that far behind. Darling still managing to hold Mark White at a cart length. White will have the benefit of the slipstream. Looking to the inside, not there this lap. Oh yes it is, a mistake there from David Darling. It's going to cost him a spot, I think, into the first chicane. Side by side, yeah, he's got to give it up. Hayden Ford is on his bumper as well now. Looking to the inside of Mike Noon. Position picked up there. Of course, Mike's been off the road, so probably letting him through to be lapped. Luke Hornsby ahead of James Munro. Hayden Ford goes down the inside of David Darling. There's a lot to do. We're into the second half of this final now. Mike Noon, Joseph Lydyard. I think they're separated by a lap though. Thomas McCutcheon is in a fight here with Joseph. Their fight over 14th place. And it looks as though Tom Mackenzie's got a couple of kart lengths now on Chris Penny. That may prove decisive. It's important that Chris doesn't lose the toe over the hump. Right into the horseshoe. Good line in. Hugging the curb, trying not to run on it. Upsets the kart. Good run out of the corner, getting the slipstream. Not quite there this time. Hornsby in his distinctive outfit. James Munro on his bumper. James Akers not making the impression on this final that I expected. Alexander Lamond with a lot to do now, I'm afraid. Ian Ford is back in touch with Mark White in their fight for 8th place. Jacob Hayne Ford is 10 seconds off the lead, so you can start to discount him from qualification, I'm afraid, with only 7 laps to go. Of course, the same can be said about Mark White. I think you've really got to think anybody below James Akers in 6th, who's 5.5 seconds off the lead, are pretty much racing for the fun of it now. Hornsby still stands a chance. And of course, Munro would be better served by being ahead of him, so he's going to try and find a way by if he can. Down to the hairpin. It's as you were for Luke and James. There's your race leader. Battle on for that 2nd place is still strong, with Mackenzie and Penny closing back in. So Mackenzie's got a good engine down the back straight, that's for sure. Penny doesn't close and loses ground. Somebody's knocked over a cone there. Now these cones are important. You clip one, they're there to protect the carts from the curbs. You clip one, you risk getting a penalty. And that'll be something that Andrew Mather will be careful not to do. There's no need. He looks to have the pace. He had the pace in the pre-B final. Just started too far back. Couldn't get through to the top 4. Started on pole in the B final and is pulling away. His lead is now 2.6 seconds on Tom Mackenzie. Not surprising, really. A bit preoccupied with Chris Penny, who's sat 1/10 of a second off his bumper. On to lap 13 of 16. 4 laps from the finish. Luke Hornsby, James Munro and James Akers have been run out of this one. Time is running short. Oh, Penny runs in hard and deep on the back of Tom Mackenzie. I think he's going to have to give that one back up. Yeah, smart move from Penny. What it does mean is though Andrew Mather has effectively checked out and is well clear now. So the battle is over 2nd place. Mackenzie looking a bit vulnerable. Penny needs to time it right and do it clean. And he's in position to strike. And Mackenzie probably could do with going a little bit narrow here to put him off, and Penny's down the inside. Oh, it's a heavy shot into the side pod. Now Penny, is he going to let Tom Mackenzie go back through? Well, he's in no hurry to do it if he is. Out of the first chicane, down to the 2nd. It looks as though Chris Penny has set his mind on having 2nd place, and he'll argue about it later. Or is he letting him back through? Well, if he is or if he isn't, Tom Mackenzie has gone back through. And there's a chance here for Luke Hornsby and James Munro as this pair fight into the horseshoe. And out, and we're coming round to start the penultimate lap. Andrew Mather's lead is stretched out to 4.2 seconds. Mackenzie under pressure from Penny. 2 laps from the finish. I can see the cone has been replaced into the first chicane. Akers, Alexander Lamond, side by side. Ian Ford and Mark White at it once again. And White has kept 8th place. The battle on for second. It looks as though it's going to be Tom Mackenzie. For now, Chris Penny in third. Luke Hornsby just out of reach. That's got to be frustrating. Oh, good run through the horseshoe there for Mackenzie. As they come round to start the final lap, he's got a couple of cart lengths on Penny. Lydd looking down the inside of Thomas McCutcheon for 14th still. Still can't get it done. That's been going on all of this B final. On to the final lap now. Alexander Lammin is going to hold off James Akehurst if he can for 6th place. Battle for 8th, Mark White and Jacob Hayne Ford. They're clear of Sam Watson in 10th. David Darling 11th, Raina Dulnick 12th. Rafael Draskas 13th. And then the battle for 14th between Thomas McCutcheon and Joseph Lydd. Well, they're in the horseshoe for the last time. Penny, I fear, is not close enough to be in position to strike at the end of the back straight. Into the last corner. Andrew Mather, he's led from the green light to the checkered flag. How's he feel about it? Well, that sounds like he's pleased. He qualifies ahead of Tom Mackenzie, Chris Penny, Luke Hornsby, Alexander Lammin and James Akehurst miss out. Well, it may have been a poor finish, but Adam White didn't waste his time. He's qualified in pole position for this lightweight A final. On the front row with him once again, it's Daniel Healy, Sean Briley on grid 3 this time, Lex Wakeman on grid 4. James Williams and Alexander Reddy on row 3, Harry Neal and Ben Atkinson on row 4. The other championship contender, Tom King, is on row 5 with Pietro Pagano. 26 on the grid with 2 B finalists added to the back of the field. This is the very last race of the day. Shadows beginning to lengthen even at this time of year. Summer really is over. Adam White now controlling the pace. That's Dan Healy ahead of us. We're on board with Lex Wakeman. In the red is Sean Briley. Looking for the green light, and it's green. Oh, and Alexander Reddy, I think, has come round the outside of Lex Wakeman. That looked like a jump start to me. On board with Andrew Mather. He won the B final. You're looking at Keith Segal ahead of us in a famous race suit that must be at least 50 years old. Tom King sorting out someone's move. Back on board with Mather. And it's still 3 wide at the back of the field into the hairpit. Adrian Richardson trying to make his way up through the field. Harry Neal wheel to wheel, pod to pod with James Williams. And Williams loses out to Lex Wakeman. And Adam White's trying to make a brave it. Look at the run that Dan Healy's got there. I think he just pressed the NOS button. On board with King. Getting a crisscross going on there with Freddie Fincham. And he should be inside into the first chicane. Fincham's going to fight it out though. On board with Darville, down in the midfield. Trying to make progress. Always tricky. This is a high quality field. There's no easy finals in Club 100. Down the inside of Ben Atkinson. Tom King gets the position. Can he hold it into the horseshoe? Yes, he can. Pagano closing in. Sean Thompson and Freddie Fincham fighting out over, that would be about 10th place, I think. And they've got company. This is Darville, Christopher Powell ahead of us. Look how narrow everyone's going into the last corner. But of course it's follow my leader. Adam White's lead is half a second on Dan Healy. He's got a second on Sean Briley. This is the fight for 3rd place then, with Reddy, Neal on board with Wakeman. James Williams is falling away. He's a second behind in 7th place. He'll be under pressure from Tom King if he doesn't get a shift on. Pagano looking to the inside of Atkinson. Atkinson closes the door, rather slams it. Neal to the inside of Reddy. There's a championship battle right there. Reddy hangs on. A move on for Wakeman. Neal covers off, shows him the outside, moves back across. I ain't sure if that counts as more than one move. Wakeman looking to the inside, into the chicane. Nothing doing there. That'd be suicidal to try it at this stage. So Neal preoccupied with Lex Wakeman behind. Briley preoccupied with Alex Reddy. Now a chance for Wakeman down the inside into the hairpin. Yeah, it's on. coming through. Driving fair there, giving Harry Neal room on the outside. Others would have driven him to the curb. So Reddy looking for a way past Sean Briley. And Briley doesn't appear to have a lot of speed here. He's under pressure. Reddy's driven round the outside. Harry Neal and Lex Wakeman are on his bumper. I don't think Briley's going to make this a double. Out front, Adam White now under pressure from Daniel Healy. So it's game on at the front, and it's a four-way fight for third place. Battles on behind. Atkinson, Pagano still trying to find a way back past. And he doesn't sound too happy. Briley trying to get that third place back, can't get it done. Goes in deep into the horseshoe, and I think he's going to be taken into the last corner. Briley showing Neal the outside, but that's not going to matter as both Neal and Wakeman blast past on the outside. And I'm afraid Sean Briley's in damage limitation mode here to the finish. Back of the field looking fairly entertaining. My apologies if we don't show enough of it. There's so much going on. Atkinson still holding off Pagano for 9th place. Fincham in the mix with them. Now Pagano's coming down the inside this time, running in deep. And I think Fincham was going to try and cut back on the inside. We've had to cut back to see Daniel Healy move into the lead. Oh, sloppy driving. Whoa, and someone's in the tyres. That's Andrew Ward. Well, it looked a bit frantic at the back. Ward surveys the damage. Wakeman looking for a way past Harry Neal. Can he get it done? Oh, no, he's tried side by side into the chicane. They've got away with it. Hand in the air, there must be a yellow flag out, presumably for Ward. Stricken just off the hairpin. There he is. Not sure I'd want to be sat there very long. Tom King down the inside of James Williams. Well, if that yellow flag was out before the second chicane, that technically is a pass under yellow. King thinking of his championship, possibly taking a risk there. And Healy's trying to break clear of Adam White, but he's going deep in on the brakes into the last corner, making up lost ground, using the toes well. From shadow into sunshine. So battle on at the front. Pagano now leading the battle for 9th place. So Healy and White. Well, perhaps Adams let Healy go by just to see where he's quick. Down the inside, Neal on Reddy. Runs him in deep, and Wakeman's going to get the pair on the exit, and he's through. So Wakeman moves through to 3rd place. Harry Neal 1 step forward, 1 step back. And all the championship contenders are in the top 7. Dan Healy leads Adam White by 1/10 of a second. Lex Wakeman is the cuckoo in the nest, if you like. Nothing to fight for. His championship sort of went off the rails at Red Lodge and never really got back on track. Until now, perhaps. But he's holding off Harry Neal, Alexander Reddy, Sean Briley and Tom King in 7th. And here is King, looking at Briley, looking for a way by. Healy takes a look over his shoulder. Adam White is right there. It's going to be a tough one to win. And maybe Adam's just keeping his powder dry, letting Dan lead out for a move on the last lap. We shall see. Fincham and Pagano side by side in the horseshoe. 2 hard racers. Bit of contact pod to pod. Once again, Wakeman now leading a dance, trying to hold off Harry Neal. Reddy on the outside. He's always going to lose out there, but he cuts back on the exit. What a good move from Reddy. Side by side in the chicane. Oh, that's a risky one, and Briley might run around the outside. So Briley perhaps is learning how to drive around the problem he has with this kart. Certainly staying in the mix. But King is on his bumper, and James Williams is moving in as well in 8th place. So Healy and Adam White. Now, as Adam White, can he pick up the toe? Let's listen. Closing at the end of the straight, on the brakes, gets to the bumper. And here comes Tom King on Sean Briley, and Briley knows the score now. He doesn't have the top speed, He runs a long way in. He might hold this into the chicane. He'll have to go around the outside. Has to do it. Oh, this could be a chance for James Williams. And they are losing ground on the battle ahead. Look at the ground that they've lost. So Briley holding on as best he can to 6th place, but it's costing him. And he's running out of the battle for the podium. So Ben Atkinson catches up and passes James Williams for 8th place. So down at the end of the straight, and White's right there, looking to the inside. So it looks as though he has got something left for the finish. That might have been a rehearsal, you know. We're on lap 12 of the 16. Once again, Sean Briley doing his level best to hold off Tom King. Neither wants a penalty, but everybody wants the points. Certainly the championship contenders. Atkinson ahead of Williams, Thompson ahead of Fincham. Fincham running in 11th, Pagano in 12th, Christopher Powell in 13th. The field coming through. Briley, I think it's just a matter of time now before Tom King finds a way by. Down, showing him the outside, but that's not going to work this time. Tom King runs round the outside and goes through. Game on at the front once again. So Healy versus Adam White. White's gone through a bit of a rocky patch in the championship, but he's back on it now after a good showing at Landau at the last round. But the man in form is Daniel Healy, outscoring all his rivals, only just though, in recent rounds. Closing in on the championship lead. Second in the table after drop scores are taken into account. And here comes Adam White. Once again looking down the inside but not going for it this time, and we move on to lap 14. Let's have a look back for the battle for 3rd place, and it's Wakeman and Neil clear of Reddy, who's going to have to settle for 5th. Tom King clear of Sean Briley. Ben Atkinson in 8th ahead of James Williams. Freddie Fincham in 10th, holding off Sean Thompson in kart 67. So Healy with a couple of kart lengths now on Adam White. Has he been holding something in reserve? And has Harry Neal. He's fairly desperate to get on the podium. He wants the points, knowing who's ahead of him on track in the shape of White and Daniel Healy. And Wakeman is determined to get back on the podium. Side by side into the last corner. It's a big ask to drive round the outside, and he can't do it. So Wakeman now on the defence, and this will invite back in Alexander Reddy on the penultimate lap. A lap and a half from the finish. Daniel Healy continues to lead out Adam White. Adam looks as though he's got something in reserve as well. They're right on the limit, I think. So Healy defends into the horseshoe. Should make him slow through the left-hander, but he pulls out a kart length or two. Neil just can't find a way by Lex Wakeman. End of the straight. Not close enough. On to the final lap now for Daniel Healy. The battle for 3rd rages on behind. Has Adam White got anything left? Has Daniel Healy? It's a couple of kart lengths into the 2nd chicane, and White's close. Oh, now he just ran off a little bit sideways there, scrubbed off a little bit of speed, and Daniel Healy nailed it. It's back out to just over a couple of kart lengths, over the hump, right into the horseshoe. Got to nail that last corner. Wakeman on the defensive to hold off Neil. A determined defence from Lex Wakeman to get on the podium. Alexander Reddy about to join in, down the back straight for the last time, and Adam White is not close enough. Out of the last corner. It's a first main trophy final win of the season for Daniel Healy. Ahead of Adam White, battle for 3rd. Wakeman takes a shot in the side from Harry Neal. Wakeman's on the podium. Harry Neal is 4th. Alexander Reddy, he's picked up a penalty, and so has Tom King. That sees a change around in the order. Sean Briley finishes 5th, Ben Atkinson 6th, Reddy in 7th, Freddie Fincham in 8th, Tom King in 9th, Sean Thompson rounds out the top 10.
So our top 3 are as follows then. 3rd place today in the lightweight class, driver number 10, Lex Wakeman. And our runner-up then, driver number 60, Adam White. But to our winner then today, and yes, 130 maximum points then, winning round 8 in the lightweight class here at Lydd, driver number 30, Daniel Heatley.
Congratulations.
Fantastic. Now, is that your first time on the top step? Your first win? He's been on the podium quite a bit recently, but he's got one better, and he's up on that first step. So well done to Daniel, his first win in Club 100. Congratulations. Well done. Another ripple of applause then for our lightweight drivers. I'd like to thank Lydd for looking after us this weekend, the marshals. I'd really like to thank my team who worked very, very hard over the last 3 days.